So, this video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually talk about on this channel. So, I usually stick to intellectual discussions about video games on this channel, and don't worry, that's not going away. But there's just been something that's been weighing on me recently that I just feel the need to talk about. So, yeah, welcome to Tryin' Maiden. I'm trying, and let's get on with it. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but technology is kind of everywhere. It's in our pockets all the time. Hell, you are probably watching this video on a piece of technology, unless the satellite that I have in orbit that constantly beams my videos into the minds of my subscribers is working, which, if that's the case, really glad you're here. And I like technology. I think that the technological advancements that we've made have been largely positive. But something that I think that I've become very aware of recently has been an ever-growing over-reliance on technology. Now, hold your horses. This isn't going to be some sort of schizo post where I talk about some sort of imminent dystopia where we're just going to do whatever big companies tell us and be blind. Chum bucket helmets for everybody. You know, I'm not talking about that. Not only does that underestimate humanity, but I also feel like worrying about a future that may or may not happen only breeds more paranoia and anxiety, so I don't really want to promote that. In this video, I'm just going to focus on the here and now. What's happening in the world today? Marvin Gaye. So a little bit of context before we get into this. I was not necessarily raised on the internet. I didn't start watching YouTube on my own and often until freshman year of high school, and I didn't join social media until sophomore year of high school. I saw the odd viral video that my parents found funny and decided to show me, and I was fine with it. I was also homeschooled at the time, so I wasn't really around other people who were allowed to be on the internet. I was totally fine watching the odd bad lip reading or how it should have ended. I didn't really need anything else. And for social media, whenever I did get it, I only really used it for entertainment. Like, I never used it to actually communicate with people. I stick to phone numbers or maybe Discord. I know, Discord, but whatever. So yeah, I pretty much just used it because it was a bunch of funny videos, but I watched a lot of it. I've explored a lot of the World Wide Web over the last half a decade, and there's a lot of it. I mean, it is such a cool thing to have literally all of human knowledge in the palm of your hand. That's crazy. I mean, you can access pretty much anything at the press of a button, and that's both a blessing and a curse. And this sort of leads into kind of where my mind's been over the last year, because over the course of the last year, I've been slowly unplugging from a lot of the internet. I left social media like a year ago, and honestly, it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made. Social media isn't really social anymore. You know, it's more just kind of quick entertainment. Like I said, all I used it for were those stupid videos, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I just personally didn't feel like I needed it anymore. And that sentiment of not needing it anymore has kind of been what's carried me through the whole unplugging journey. Recently, I have made a huge change, which is honestly the main reason why I'm making this video. I left music streaming. It's gone. No more Spotify, no more Apple Music, no more Amazon Music for the 3 people who use Amazon Music. I left music streaming altogether and switched to this, the iPod. I mean, I love this thing. For only around $150, I have a way to permanently store music and videos that mean a lot to me. Plus, it's modded, so shout out Elite Obsolete Electronics for that. I mean, yeah, like 256 gigs, like 20 to 40 hours of battery life, like what's not to love? It's great. But it's legitimately surprising how much switching to this thing has completely changed my outlook on like all of modern technology. I know this might sound a little bit stupid, but switching to an iPod, having control over my music, which is something that means a lot to me, has kind of been life-changing. I control exactly what goes on this thing. Like, I'm not constantly inundated with all of music history at the press of a button. There's no suggestions, and nothing can interrupt your music. Alongside this, there's a significant feeling of ownership with everything that's on the iPod. It's a pretty similar reason as to why vinyl collecting or CD collecting has come back in style over the last couple of years. There's actually a sense of ownership to what you listen to, and that's something that you can't get with music streaming. Now, I want to be clear. I like the idea of using a streaming service, but it costs money, and also Spotify web player with an ad blocker is basically premium anyway. But why would I pay money for something that takes away ownership and control? And that's the kicker, ladies, gents, and everyone in between. That's the idea that I've been ruminating on for a very long time at this point. A vast majority of contemporary tech is constantly vying for your undivided attention. Even if you're not taking out your wallet and pulling out a credit card or a few dollar bills, you're in a constant economic exchange with the rest of the world. And the currency that all of us are constantly spending is time. I promise this is going somewhere. I promise this is going somewhere. Stay with me, okay?
I am not crazy!
Where we spend our time, where we dedicate a majority of our day, is spending a currency that we can't get back. I mean, all of these algorithms that permeate social media are designed specifically for you to spend more time on the app, so that way you see more ads, so that way companies make more money. It's a time suck, something that exists purely to take you out of the world. It's actively ripping you off by making you flippantly spend your most valuable currency. And I'm not the only one who's recognizing this either. The YouTube channel Diggin' the Greats did a fantastic 4-part series about switching to the iPod, and he actually inspired me to switch to a dumb phone. I mean, look at this thing. It's in grayscale, 13 apps on my home screen, and all of this is built into the average iPhone too. And just like leaving social media and music streaming services, it's been one of the best decisions that I feel like I've made in recent years. It's easy to forget that there's an alternative for everything that's become normal over the last decade or so. And finding those alternatives has been honestly really fulfilling. I've switched to a dedicated device for pretty much everything now. PC for gaming, editing, and stuff like that, phone purely for communicating with people, iPod for music, and laptop for school and work. I guess it's its own form of work-life balance, which for a college student in a kind of small 4-person apartment, it's kinda nice. Now, why am I saying all this? Well, I hope that this doesn't sound like some sort of schizophrenic manifesto or anything like that.
I am not crazy.
The main thing that I want to communicate in this video is how switching to all of these dedicated devices has really impacted my life in a very positive way. By taking what I used to spend 20 to 30 hours a week on out of my schedule, that being social media, I feel way more productive. I've gained a sense of ownership over the stuff that I spend money on, and actually recently I got into vinyl collecting. Tower of Power. Great band. Great band. I started journaling. I'm going places and doing different things, and it's all much more fulfilling than laying on my bed for 2 hours and scrolling through YouTube shorts. Sort of paradoxically, by filling my free time with more things, I feel like I have more free time. It's weird. I feel like I'm actually starting to cherish the time that I have instead of just infinitely scrolling on a big black rectangle. And the best part about it is, I get to spend that time with people that I care about. I really do find it easy to take the things you love for granted. It's easy to just stay in your room, not doing anything, hating everything about your life. The internet probably should have served as an escape from thoughts like that, the real world. But with how much of the real world is all over the internet, it really isn't anymore. You're constantly reminded of the terrible things that happen all across the globe on an almost hourly basis. It paints this picture that the world, the people in it, life, is terrible, and that there's no purpose in it. But life is so much more than we give it credit for. There's so much to love about this world that we've been given, the people that have been placed into our lives. If we take all of that for granted and only worry about the worst parts of the world, you'll never see the good hidden in all of the bad. I mean, yeah, the world sucks. Everyone knows this. I'm not gonna sit here and say that the world is inherently good. And while it is good to keep up to date on all the big stuff happening, it's also healthy to take a step away and forget about the problems that are ladening this world for just a moment and take in the gifts that you're surrounded by. Go out with people, listen to music, dance, hike, play songs. Find something that brings you fulfillment, an art to enjoy, a sport to play. Count your personal trials as joy, since it means that you're growing and changing as a person. Take a break from the entertainment, the news, the stories that have been made for you, and go make your own. There's stuff out there. There's always gonna be stuff out there. And there's always gonna be stuff on your phone, videos on YouTube, and they're gonna be great. But should your priority be a 30-second video that you're gonna forget all about in an hour? Or the beauty of creation that's just sitting there, waiting for you to take a step outside and experience it? Well, that was a pretentious montage, if I do say so myself. This is a weird video, man. Okay, so what am I actually trying to say here? Am I trying to say that you should chuck your phone into the nearest river and go live on a ranch in Montana? No! Well, I mean, if you want to do that, then more power to you, but I'm not saying you should. If you want to, I mean, you can, but should you? I just wanted to talk about how much reasonably unplugging from the internet has benefited me. And as of right now, I'm not looking back. I mean, as far as I know, this could totally just be some kind of weird phase that I'm going through. But as of right now, I'm gonna be standing on my soapbox screaming, "It's not a phase! It's a lifestyle!" I hate myself. That was terrible. Whether or not you should do this is up to you. I'm not gonna try to tell you how to live your life. But like, this iPod's pretty sick though, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole video. They're not all like this, so if you want to see more, then consider subscribing because it's free and it helps out the channel a ton. There's also a membership where you can join, and for $1 a month, I do extra videos. But there's not an extra video this week because I have been very busy. School is ramping up, and I just couldn't really swing it this week, so that's on me. But I do want to shout out my big gamers, Pine the Sheep, and the chess team. It really does mean the most that you guys are supporting me directly, and yeah, I guess I'll see all y'all next time.
Okay. Oh my god. So good. It's not fair. It's not fair.
I think that was my favorite.
That might be. Oh, and then we.